Hello and welcome to Digital Board Game Labs, where we explore the possibilities found in digital board gaming. My name is Alexi, and today we explore 3 ways to approach this sort of a conundrum in Tabletop Simulator, which is the Carcassonne Meeple. Now, if you're familiar with Carcassonne and working with Tabletop Simulator, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Laying down a meeple, like doing this in Tabletop Simulator, might seem simple at first, but actually it's not as intuitive as it seems. So I'll show you 3 different ways in 3 different levels of difficulty that you can actually approach this in Tabletop Simulator. But first and foremost, we have to make our meeple. Now, the most straightforward and easiest way to make a meeple within Tabletop Simulator is to use the token custom component. So let's go to Objects, Components, Custom, Token, and then just left click on the table, right click to set the parameters, and let's choose our image. Now, the image, whenever you do this irregularly shaped object within TTS, will need to have transparency. So basically you want the shape of your token, in our case a meeple, and just surround that with transparency. Right, so right now I have this meeple ready right here. We'll upload it to the cloud, upload, and just import and see what we get. As you can see, we have a nicely shaped meeple token there. We can left click on it so that it actually goes down on the table. That's all there is to it, really. There are some things we can do to improve this, such as making the thickness much higher, and that's going to give us some thickness. And of course, since we're talking about a meeple, we need this meeple to actually stand up and not lie down by default. So we right click on it again, go to custom, and go to stand up, and that will make the default orientation of the meeple standing up. And there you go, there is our meeple. I just want to do one more thing to make this even cooler, and I'll make it sort of a gold yellow color, which is my preference for colors in board games. Now, as you can see, there are some imperfections to the meeple, but we can easily fix that. As you can see, there are like transparent patches on the meeple right now. We can right click, go to custom again, and fix that by adjusting the merge distance and making it go a little lower, maybe like 12 from 15. Let's see if that actually fixes it. And there you go. It does indeed fix it. So here we go. There is our meeple, and for all 3 approaches that we will be tackling, we will be using this base meeple for all of them. So the first way to make your meeple lie down is to actually use the flick tool. Now, the flick tool can be found right here. It's the 5th icon from the top on your toolbar. Just click on that, and then you want to flick the top of your meeple ever so gingerly. Like, don't flick it like crazy, right? Just flick it ever so gingerly, ever so gently, and there you go. The meeple does lie down. So again, we just stand up our meeple and then flick it ever so gently, and there you go. It does lie down. Yes, it is a very simple way to approach this, but it is very, very effective. Now, the issue is when you try to grab it again, the meeple will automatically stand up. And sometimes you don't really want that. You want it to remain lying down or standing up, depending on what the last state of the meeple was. And that's where our second way of doing this comes in, which is the use of states. Now, not a lot of people actually use states in Tabletop Simulator, but it is a very good way to toggle between the different ways in which a component can appear within the game. So in our case, we'll only have 2 states, the meeple standing up and the meeple lying down, but know that for your games, you can have a myriad of different states. So how do you do states? So basically, first thing we do is we want to create the states of our meeple as separate objects, right? So right now we have 1 state, which is the standing up state. Now we want to create the second state of this exact meeple. So the way to do that is to just copy the meeple. So copy and then paste it right there. So Control C to copy, Control V to copy anywhere on the table. And now we have an exact copy of our meeple. And now what we want to do is make this meeple lie down. And if you were paying attention to the beginning of the video, you'll know that that is just a simple matter of going to custom and setting the parameter of stand up to false, meaning uncheck it. So make sure to click import to apply the settings, and there you go. the meeple is lying down. Now, you don't want to update the meeple, right? In this case. So what it's saying is, hey, I found another meeple that is exactly like this. Would you want me to apply the same settings to this meeple as you did to this one? So sometimes you want to do that in your game. In our case, we actually don't want to do that. So we just press on cancel. And there you go. Those are our two states for our Carcassonne meeple. So how do we actually merge these two into a single object that has separate states? So all you need to do is actually select both of them, right click, and then create states right here in the contextual menu. What that does is merges them into one, and then you'll see when you hover over it, it has two states. So right now it's in state 1 of 2. That tells us there are 2 states to this meeple. And then to shift to the other state, you only need to press the number key on your keyboard. So basically, if we want to go to state number 2, we press on number 2 on our keyboard, and there you go. If we want to go back to state number 1, which is standing up, we press 1 on our keyboard, and it stands up. And that's a fantastic way to approach the Carcassonne meeple within Tabletop Simulator, but we still want to make it even fancier. And that's where my third method comes in. Now, the third way to approach this is, of course, through scripting. Now, for a majority of you who are watching this video, scripting is a little too, I guess, hard to reach or too complex of a subject for this video to actually cover. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you what the script is actually doing to the meeple, and hopefully you'll have fun just seeing what is possible within TTS. Now, for those of you who are interested in diving deeper into coding, into 3D modeling, into image editing, I do have a Patreon that will cover all of these more advanced techniques in Tabletop Simulator, and you can look at that in the description below. So what exactly did I script into this meeple? Now, states are fine and good. For the most part, everybody is going to be completely fine and happy with using states for this Carcassonne meeple. But I find that, pressing the numbers 1 and 2 on your keyboard is not as intuitive as it could possibly be. What I think is more intuitive, though, is the double click. Now, I've set up the meeple such that if you double click on it, it will toggle between the 2 different states. So as you can see, as I hover over the meeple, there are no states there, right? There are no states, but if you do double click on it, it will lie down. And if it's lying down, if you double click on it, it will stand back up, which is fantastic. And if you manipulate that object while standing up, it will remain standing up. If you double click on it and it's lying down and you pick it up, it will remain lying down as well. And that is the fanciest way to approach the Carcassonne meeple, in my opinion. Now, there are multiple ways to approach the Carcassonne meeple, of course. In the past, I've used 3D modeling for the meeple, but that's a little too complicated for most people. And the beauty of using tokens for this implementation is that you can actually change the meeple on the fly. Like, say you want to change the shape of your meeple, you're not too happy with the meeple, then it's really all a matter of just changing the image of your meeple to the new shape that you want, and the scripting and everything will remain, as you can see. There you go. There's our new meeple shape. And if I double click on that, it stands up. If I double click on it again, it does lie down. Let's try that one more time with another shape. And hopefully you guys can tell what game I'm giving a nod to. It is a fantastic implementation. So for those of you who want to use this implementation in your mods, there is a download link to the scripted meeple in the description below. And that's it for us today, everyone. Hopefully that was of interest to you and hopefully encourages you to keep exploring what is possible within the digital space, what is possible within Tabletop Simulator. Now, if you like more content like this, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we do have a Facebook group, an Instagram, a Twitter, and all of those relevant links will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.